Here we go. All right, class, here we go. We're going to move this to the next tutorial, and where we're going to move on over to this hashtag. And I'm going to use the tool here for just selecting the artwork, and I'm just going to just select some lines. So just so you know the difference, so if I just select a line and I can move it, and if I go here and I can just move it, I can increase its size, I can rotate it, I can do all kinds of different things with it. If you do this in Flash, as far as I know, unless you select auto grouping and it's still like this, these lines become fused and they never ever ever become independent. You have to use an auto group feature. Harmony will do this until you actually say merge or merge lines. It will always make individual lines. So little things about intersecting on lines and line styles. So let's just say, for example, that I'm going to copy this line style with the pencil editor. I'm going to copy this tapered beginning, and I'm going to say Command C, select all of these, and say Command V. Look at that. Now they're all tapered. Isn't that a beautiful thing? And so now these are all all interconnected. And if I hit the D key, D for dog, you'll see that it shows my vectors. And you'll notice that points that are orange, or they're really like yellow in the middle with a red around it, and we'll just say they're orange, are open-ended, and points that are intersecting are blue. And that's how you know when something will paint or fill in. This area will paint or will fill in if it is blue. But if I do something like this, and let's say that I do like that, and I hit the D key, rightfully so, this would look like it would paint. But until I hit D, which is also show strokes, I won't know that this is not connected until I do so. And then I pull it out and say, ah, now there's a connection. Now I know that that will fill. Okay, so D, or show strokes, is vitally important when creating new artwork. All right, so also if I want to make another line, I'm going to make another line from here to here, and I'm going to close this off. But I'm going to go to my tool properties. And one of the things I do with tool properties is, and by the way, if you, by default, I think auto close gap is turned on when you first launch the program, make sure that that's turned off. And then I'm going to go to the snap to contour tool, and snap to contour just fuses these two lines together. It automatically just creates a line snapping. And boom, and in fact, oops, that's just too thin. I'm going to go to 20 point. And even if I find that doesn't work, I'll just say select that line. Let's say line weight is at, until I feel that it's about right. Boom, okay. Now these are together. Okay, so if I select these lines right here, these are now fused, but they're still two separate lines. It looks like they're together, but they're not. This is still one selection, and this is another. Well, what if I wanted to combine these lines so that I can just make them one line or fuse them together? And the other question is, why would I do that? And the real answer is so that I can get some nice mitering going on. In Flash, I think most of the end caps are always round. But what I want to show you is that you can miter things, and you use bevel or miter to get a sharp end cap. I'm going to increase the size of both of these so that the maximum size is a little larger on, say, right here, 60. Okay, so this one is 60, and this one is also, I'll say 60. Let's just type it in, 60. Okay, and so now that you can see this a little better, I want these two to be fused so that I can miter the corners. So what I'm going to do is select this line, and then I'm going to go into my tool properties here. Remember, tool properties is your lifeline. You can't do anything without it. So unless you know, I mean, there's no way of knowing what each tool is capable of unless you have tool properties open. So I'm going to select this line, and then I'm going to say, there's this little icon here that looks like a ghosted band-aid over a line. That's to heal the lines, or the pencil lines. I'm going to click that one time, and you're going to see, boom, instantly I got a mitered edge. You wouldn't normally see that, but it would just actually do nothing if I didn't have this already pre-selected. So if this was on round, you wouldn't have seen anything done. But now that I've healed it, it's a mitered edge, and you can only miter points that are of the, of miter corners when it's of the same line. So now it's one selection, not two separate ones. Let's do that again. I'll make this a line thickness, a maximum line thickness of 60, right? And I'm going to make sure that my miter is set to rounded. I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to say heel, okay? Actually change the other one again. So I'm just going to select that and say join miter. Boom. Now I have a nice crisp corner here, okay? And that's a fantastic thing. So now we can get some really nice dynamic shapes out of it, and I can still change my minimum and maximum sizes for some really nice tapering to go on. Okay, so there's that feature right there. And of course, yes, all of these can be have different textures to them and so forth. And so the question I've had is, well, if I make a texture, where does it paint to? And the answer is it paints to the center vector, the center line. So if I'm going to paint this, and we'll just say, I'll pick a color, and we'll just pick red. I'm going to paint that. You'll see that it paints all the way to the vector, right in the center. What I mean by the vector is the center blue. Okay, that's where it paints to. And we know that these will fill. Okay, right? All right. So that's really cool, and I can just select these and I can delete those colors out. All right, and again, I can go to my tool properties and select on none for my textures. Okay, so that's kind of how textures work in lines, and this is another example of line work. Okay, anything else I want to cover? I'm just going to make sure. Oh, if I want to flip the orientation of a line thickness, I can do that with this button here. Flip orientation. You'll see that a couple times here. Flip orientation, or even this one that is now in. I would say I want to flip the orientation. Well, let me do it on this one. No, because I fused it so many different times or different ways. So flip orientation. Here we have flip horizontal, flip vertical, rotate 90 degrees, right? Rotate the other way 90 degrees. Okay, these are other different line tools, and again, these are all here under the Select Tools tool properties. Okay, and that's it for line work that I've got for you now. All right, let's move on to the next tutorial.